So let's get into it. So TikTok crackdown shifts to overdrive with sale or shutdown on table. So TikTok was caught by surprise by the passage of a new bill by a House committee. Legislation that would ban TikTok in the U.S. or force its sales is hurtling towards a vote in the House following months of behind-the-scenes effort on Capitol Hill. The new push caught the service off guard, ratcheting up interest from possible buyers and raising the possibility that one of the most popular apps in the country could soon be shut down. Lawmakers have decried TikTok for years, expressing concerns that the app's Beijing-based parent would share data about its users with the Chinese government or lean on TikTok to promote Beijing's propaganda and shape America's political opinions. Efforts have seemingly stalled until this week when a new bill passed the House Energy Commerce Committee 50 to none. This is bipartisan, so there's Democrats, Republicans are on this committee. An effort by TikTok to push users to call their congressional representatives in opposition to the bill appeared to backfire by only hardening opponents' resolves. So TikTok made a huge mistake, and they decided to send this message to American users. Stop a TikTok shutdown. Congress is planning a total ban of TikTok. Speak up now before your government strips 170 million Americans of their constitutional right to free expression. This will damage millions of businesses, destroy livelihoods of countless creators across the country, and deny artists an audience. Let Congress know what TikTok means to you and tell them to vote no. Call now. Okay, so why was this a strategic blunder? You probably might say, well, American companies do this all the time. Oh, American companies do it because they're in America. But TikTok is owned by ByteDance, which is a Chinese company. So let's take a rocket scientist put together, Chinese company is telling Americans to go tell their Congress people how to vote on American policy. I'm not a rocket scientist. Does that sound like foreign meddling? Yeah. So here's some examples of companies that have made appeals like this. But here, like, these are all American companies. So there's net neutrality, Amazon, Google, and Facebook. That's fine. Stop Online Act, SOPA. Here's Google, who's lobbying. Apple is lobbying. Apple has occasionally urged lawmakers and whatnot to support privacy because the FBI wanted access to their phone. And then eventually, it was interesting. I forgot what shooter event that happened a couple of years ago, but Apple wanted the data for a phone, and Apple wasn't going to give it. And then the FBI found some way to clone the phone and then brute force their way in, and the FBI then went away. Uber and Lyft, the constant battles in California regarding contractor status, Airbnb, the fact that no one wants an Airbnb in their nice suburb, and then Reddit. So, foreign countries can lobby if they want. American companies can lobby if they want. But the whole thing about TikTok was they're trying to show that they're not meddling in what's going on in America or not controlled by China. Then they went nuclear and decide, hey, let's just send a pop-up telling Americans that you should go contact your Congress people so that TikTok doesn't get banned. Now, the bill that's currently that just sent out of the Energy Committee, is going to be voted on Wednesday. So let's go through the House and through the Senate. Now, here's the rub is this bill, it got a 50-0 vote, but this only happened when the TikTok's affairs team or whatnot decided to send that notification. And so let me read from another story I got here. As lawmakers prepared to consider the legislation, users of the app, which is accessed by more than 170 million Americans, saw notifications Thursday urging them to complain to their House representatives about the bill. Then the app let people call the representative with a few presses of the button. So they literally hey, hey, staffers for Congress people, we're just going to make it so that we send a push notification so we can have all your users contact you directly. I mean, it's not like y'all were working on other things right now. And I was an intern for a congressperson, and we were we got phone bombed like that before by moveon.org because we weren't left enough of what they wanted. We were liberal, but not a liberal enough. And our whole entire switchboard like exploded. And believe me, that did not make us like, oh, we really want to help out MoveOn.org right now because they blew up our switchboard. It's like, no, fuck them. We're already fighting for like the cause. We're just not going as far as they want. Now they're blowing up our phone lines. Yeah, we really want to help you going forward. Um, so then going back to the story, the 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 Congress people were quickly overwhelmed. The phone lines of some congressional offices exploded, which were bombarded with hang-ups and questions. It also illustrated how TikTok could mobilize an army of people and gather data to push their behavior, which some lawmakers say is the exact reason they don't want the company to have ties back to China. So, like, I've heard people make arguments saying, "Well, hey, TikTok can do it. It's not. Hey, other companies have done it." It's not that. It's public perception. And this is one thing that I try to explain in the show. Why does public perception matter? Because that then dictates dictates your approval and what your constituents think about you, and dictates if they're going to fire you or hire you for another term. So public perception is key. So now, if this this happens, and you were like on the fence, and then someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, did you hear that like TikTok sent this announcement trying to urge people to vote a certain way and meddle on our politics? Like, do you support a Chinese-run government, like a Chinese-run company that's supported by CCP, to like meddle in our affairs?" And you could have been someone who was like, "No, originally I'm fine with TikTok being here. They should. It's First Amendment." But now you're in this weird position where you're like, "No, I think the CCP should be able to." And no, I know people are going to say ByteDance owns TikTok, but TikTok's run in America, blah, blah, blah. But like, there's a connection there. It's not like the CCP's in there calling the shots, but there's like a trail. Okay. So, and a trail is good enough in politics to then cast aspersions and whatnot. So, anyways, so now you're in a weird situation. You're like, oh, no, I don't think China should be able to do that. And then you're like, I guess if I, if I'm against this bill, now it shows that I'm kind of supporting what China's doing. But if I'm for this bill, even though I don't want to see it banned, it at least makes me look like I'm not a puppet of the Chinese government. So they screwed themselves doing this, and they should. Their public affairs team should have thought better about this. Or, well, actually, I don't know what's going on in their public affairs team. They may have internally said like, "Hey, we should not like send a push notification to 170 million members because we're gonna hit a it's going to be a hornet's nest, because once we do that, we don't know what the repercussions are going to be. Because then, if I was the Congress people who are pushing for this bill, I'd be like, oh, thank you, TikTok. This is what I wanted. Now I can go with the narrative that you're fighting for the CCP and you're trying to get in the minds of Americans. Like, thank you. If they would have they would have shut the fuck up, and if they would have just worked for the super PACs they created and worked in the shadows, that would have been better. But by them doing this now caused the committee to say, we got to vote on this now. And so now you have 50 people in the committee who are Democrats, Republicans, who didn't get along everything, are now saying, no, we need to either get this thing banned, or we need to, they have 5 months to find someone to buy this company, or they need to be outright banned. So anyways, and regarding them finding a suitor, there's more on this later. So let's go back to the story. The legislation calls for Beijing-based ByteDance to divest itself. I explained that already. Already, U.S. tech and media titans are circling. In recent days, some executives have discussed buying TikTok if ByteDance agrees to sell. Bobby Kotick, the former chief executive of video game publisher Activision, has expressed interest in ByteDance co-founder Zhang Yiming. According to a person familiar with the situation, any price tag is estimated to be in hundreds of billions of dollars. Now, I think Bobby is probably the most hated person on Reddit, because, I mean, there's the toxicity inside of Blizzard regarding all the sexual harassment issues, how they've made decisions on how to run the games and whatnot. I don't know if anyone wants to have him lead this deal with just the cloud he has around himself. Kotick is looking for partners. At a dinner at Allen Co. conference earlier this week, Kotick floated the idea of partnering to buy TikTok to a table of people that include OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, according to people familiar with the situation. OpenAI could use TikTok to help train its AI models. Partners such as Kotick could raise the capital for such an acquisition. I don't know if Sam Altman wants to get in bed with Bobby, for one thing, for that cloud he has around him. And then second thing, I don't know if Sam wants to get close to TikTok with all the cloud it has around it regarding ties to China and things like that. And then third, I don't know if necessarily OpenAI needs that information to train their models. You saw what they've done with SAR already. It's pretty damn good. But hey, we'll see. You're probably hearing on Twitter, oh my God, Claude 3, AGI. Don't worry, Joe and I are here. Put the kooks at bay. And we have just recorded a video on Claude 3's technical report. And is it actually putting pressure on OpenAI? And then we talk about New York Times dropped an article saying Mira Marty wanted Sam Altman fired, but they're also suing, OpenAI. So we don't know what the hell they're talking about. But if you want to learn, check it out. We also have an episode on the adult and entertainment industry meets AI for all y'all who like kinky AI stuff. And then we have an episode on dead tech companies walking. We then go into Microsoft engineers share advice on integrating LLM Copilot into your product. We have overtime with Martin Trapani for all you who want to learn about how to use AI with healthcare. And then Joe talks about web agents. And then there's Joe yawning. And then we talk about alpha codium. We have 16 banger episodes here. We release one new one per week. And what's great is they're all ad free and you get previews. You can preview it too before you decide to give us $5 a month so you can access them all. So you get 2 minutes of free previews for each video. And $5 a month gets you in. Plus you get a reading list, which is summaries of Joe's latest research papers he has read. You get those before we record. So you're all prepped, good to go. And there's some research we don't even have time to record because there's so much crazy news going on. So patreon.com/Svick. Get ad-free exclusive episodes that you can watch either on Patreon or YouTube. Talk to you later. Bye.